Imagine being locked inside a steel tube 800 feet beneath the ocean, knowing that if a single pipe bursts, you die in seconds. Right now, 155 sailors are living exactly like this. No sunlight, no fresh air, no contact with their families for months. Inside this $4 billion machine, they don't just weaponize nuclear missiles, they manufacture their own air just to stay alive. Forget the classified missions. The real shocker is how these men survive the daily psychological warfare of living underwater. And it all starts the exact second the hatch closes. The Ohio-class submarine is the largest ever built by the United States Navy. 560 feet long, nearly 2 football fields placed end to end. When it submerges, it disappears entirely from the world above, and the 155 sailors inside it don't come back up for 70 days. The moment that hatch seals shut, everything changes. No sunlight, no weather, no way to tell if it's morning or midnight without checking a schedule. The crew's connection to normal life doesn't fade slowly. It cuts off completely. What replaces it is structure. Strict, unbroken, mandatory structure. Because without it, the human mind starts to lose its grip in ways that cannot be allowed inside a nuclear vessel. Every meal, every shift, and every hour of sleep is planned before the submarine ever leaves port. But how that structure works when it comes to something as basic as feeding 155 people from inside a kitchen smaller than most bathrooms is where this gets interesting. Before the submarine leaves port, every ounce of food for the entire patrol is loaded on board. There is no resupply, no deliveries, no emergency run. One Ohio-class submarine takes on roughly 20,000 pounds of food before departure. Beef, chicken, flour, sugar, coffee, packed into every available inch until nothing is left. But the freezers fill fast, so what happens to the rest? It goes into the hallways. Canned goods are stacked directly on the corridor floors, covered with plywood so sailors can walk over them. During the first days of patrol, crew members hunch down just to move through the ship. They call it eating your way out. As the weeks pass and the crew works through the supplies, the corridors slowly open up. It takes about 2 weeks. All of that food gets cooked in a kitchen that measures 8 by 10 feet, smaller than most bathrooms. 6 to 8 cooks work in rotating shifts from that space, producing 4 complete meals every single day. The kitchen never closes. The Navy enforces a strict policy that submarine food must be the best in the entire fleet. Prime rib, lobster tail, freshly baked bread, soft-serve ice cream available at any hour. Because when sunlight, fresh air, and contact with family are all removed, a good meal is the one thing that still feels like normal life. At the midpoint of every patrol, around day 35, the crew marks halfway night. The cooks prepare the best meal of the entire deployment, lobster tail and prime rib. It sounds like a small gesture. But 35 days into a sealed vessel with no outside contact, that meal carries a weight most people will never understand. But preparing gourmet food in a closet is nothing compared to where these sailors have to sleep. Because to get any rest, they have to crawl directly into the belly of America's most dangerous weapons. The sleeping areas sit inside the missile compartment. That placement is deliberate. The massive missile tubes surrounding the bunks absorb vibration and dampen noise, making it the quietest section on the entire boat. The Navy knows sleep quality directly affects performance. On a nuclear submarine, poor performance is not an option. Each bunk is 30 inches wide. The gap between one bunk and the one directly above it is roughly 18 to 20 inches. Less than 2 feet between a sailor's face and the mattress above him. Former submariners describe it the same way every time, like being slid into a narrow drawer. Every sailor gets a small curtain and a storage locker barely large enough for a change of clothes. That locker and that bunk are the full extent of personal space for 70 days. Nothing more. But here's what makes it harder. There are more sailors than bunks, so the submarine uses hot racking. Multiple sailors share the same bunk on a rotating schedule. When one sailor climbs in after his watch, the mattress is still warm from the man who just left. Each sailor keeps his own bedding in a personal locker, sets it up when his turn comes, and removes it when he leaves. The bunk never belongs to anyone permanently. Now, you might think that is the hardest part of this life. Wait until you hear what the daily schedule actually demands. If you respect the sacrifice these sailors make every single day, type "respect" in the comments below. Every sailor stands watch with 6 hours on and 12 hours off, rotating without pause for the entire patrol. During those 12 hours between watches, a sailor completes maintenance, studies for qualification exams, eats, and sleeps. Personal time barely exists. There is no off switch for the submarine's operations. The control room is never empty. Someone is always steering. Someone is always watching the reactor. Someone is always monitoring sonar. When you are operating beneath the surface with nuclear weapons on board, the word unattended does not exist. Qualification runs underneath all of it. Every crew member must demonstrate detailed knowledge of every major system on the boat. Senior sailors and officers conduct formal boards throughout the patrol, testing junior crew on emergency procedures and damage control. Until a sailor qualifies, he is not yet a full member of the crew. Maintenance cannot wait. There is no external support. No possibility of pulling into port for repairs. If something breaks underwater, the crew fixes it. The submarine carries spare parts for its most critical systems. Everything else gets repaired with what is already on board. This discipline is what keeps the submarine moving. But there is something deeper at work. Something that keeps the crew alive at all. Something most people watching this have never had to think about. Every breath inside a submerged Ohio-class submarine is manufactured. The primary oxygen source is seawater. Electrolysis systems pass electrical current through purified water, splitting the molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen enters the atmosphere. The hydrogen vents overboard. These systems run continuously. As a backup, the submarine carries chemical oxygen candles, devices that burn at roughly 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit and produce a steady flow of oxygen during emergencies. Carbon dioxide is the other half of the problem. 155 people exhale continuously, and CO2 builds up fast inside a sealed hull. The submarine forces air through chambers filled with soda lime, a compound that traps CO2 as the air passes through. A secondary system uses a liquid that absorbs CO2 when cold and releases it when heated, then cycles back and repeats. Submariners know it by its smell, a sharp chemical odor that never fully leaves the air. Fresh water comes from the ocean itself. Seawater is heated until it evaporates. The pure vapor condenses into drinking water, cooking water, and washing water. Sailors take Navy showers. 30 seconds to get wet, water off to soap up. Then 60 seconds to rinse. 2 to 3 gallons total. The reactor powers every one of these systems around the clock. The crew monitors every reading, every alarm, and every output without pause. Because 800 feet below the surface, there is no calling for help. The submarine is the only thing standing between 155 sailors and the ocean. The crew keeps it running every hour of every day. That is the silent service.